Thank you for giving this opportunity to interact with participants. So, and as we know that today's topic is role of data in the policy implementation. So, I just want to spend a few seconds on this slide. So, I was just trying to figure out how to showcase the importance of evidence when it comes to policy cycle. So I found this. So in this slide, we can see that what is the importance of evidence when it comes to policy making. So we can see that how a person is half submerged in the rising sea water, which has been caused by the global warming. But he's still denying this fact, and he thinks that the climate change issue, climate change or global warming is a complete lie. So here we can see that there is a gross ignorance of evidence when it comes to making policy decision, and this should not happen because this will have very dangerous consequences. So in that case, we'll have to ensure that whenever policy making is happening, we are considering the evidence. Okay, and so. But I'm not saying that the evidence is the only factor when it comes to policy making. Of course, it is the central to the policy making, but there are other factors which are very important when it comes to policy making. And why I'm talking about the policy making, although the topic is role of data management in policy making, I just want to give you some background. What is the importance of the evidence? So please bear with me. So we can see that here, there are a lot of other things which are very important. So there may be political policy makers priorities. There can be the issue of resources. There can be the social tradition or custom or no norms. So these all things go into the policy making, and it is not a linear process. So it is a very complex process, as Davis has said. He has rightly pointed out that the policy making is basically an integration of evidence with expertise, experience, and judgment. So this is a policy making, and there are several approaches about policy making, and one of them, which is widely accepted, has been given by Overseas Development Institute of London. So you can see here how the policy cycle basically works. So first you try to diagnose the problem, and then you develop a strategy. Basically, you design solution by taking many factors into account. And then you basically set up a M&E system which can monitor the progress. So here I just want to highlight, when it comes to data, data is everywhere, be it a policy formulation or be it a policy implementation. So data is everywhere. Until or unless we have data, we cannot ensure that we have a policy which will be very impactful, or also we cannot be able to ensure that the implementation is happening as per the plan. So this is the importance of the data. So now the question, the topic which today we are going to discuss, why data is so important when it comes to implementation, why we give so much emphasis on the data. So as we know that, and you must all of us know that when it comes to data, so data has a role in implementation. So it can help you to find out whether you are heading into the right direction or not in terms of implementing the policy implementation. And then it can help you to fine tune your strategy. It can help you to redesign the planning. So lot many things you can do with the data. So I will give you one example, and that was one of the projects which I did, and it was in collaboration with the 5 state governments, and the project was DISA. So it was a skilling project where we were trying to provide marketable skills to 1 million women so that they can participate in income generating activities. So in that project, what happened? So the process was, we used to mobilize the women first, and then we try to convince them if they want to participate in the training program, so they can participate in the training. And then we used to connect them with the employers, or if they wanted help in facilitation in starting some enterprises. So we used to provide these kind of helps to the participants, to the trainees. So what happened in one of the program, we found that although registration was very high, but the attendance of the participants was very low. So that was the kind of a flag we got from the M&E system. Basically, we had a program monitoring system, that was MIS. So there we saw that the attendance is not very good. It's almost 40%, and it was very disturbing for us, because we had invested so much time and resources to mobilize the women across many states. So that was not happening. So what happens? The data creates the first flag that women are not coming to the training. So we try to figure out what are the reasons why women are not coming to the training center. So we try to analyze the data more, because we had a household data and other information we had about the participants. And then we found that only those women who are staying away 5 kilometers or more from the training center, they are not participating in the training. So that was the reason. And so we found that this is a reason. And then again, we try to understand, yes, maybe distance can be one factor, but we also try to further investigate by using different qualitative tool. And we found that for these women, yes, distance or a mobility is one of the major constraint. And also they have to take care of household chores. And what happens, because of distance, they had to spend too much time in traveling, and that's why they were not able to participate in the training program. So this information we got from the data. After getting this information or knowledge from this data, we try to revise our mobilization strategy. We revised basically our mobilization strategy, and we ensured that in future, for any of the programs which we are doing under DISA, the mobilization of the women should not be very far. It should be within the radius of 5 kilometers, so that they are able to participate in the training. Because we have found that we had found that they were not ready to participate in training or income generating activities at the cost of household chores. So that was the foremost thing for them. And that's how and that is why we changed our mobilization strategy. So, and this was not the case in the rural area only. This was the case even in metropolitan. It was the case in NCR as well. We mobilized women at A point, and we organized the training at C point. And we found that distance between A and C point was almost 15 to 20 kilometers. And there was a connectivity, metro connectivity. And still women were not participating in the training program. So this was the information data has given. So what? So by using this data, we ensured few things. We ensured that we are not going off track. If we are going off track, then we will not be able to achieve the program objective. Okay. So data helped us to be on the track. And it also ensured that the public fund, whatever money we are getting from the government or from the donors, it is being spent judiciously. Okay. So that we ensured by using this data. Also, one of the major factor which data did, it fixed the accountability. When program management unit got this information that the participation is not happening, so it was the responsibility of the program management unit to ensure that the mid-course correction are being taken. So this is the importance of the data. when it comes to program implementation. And I would like to also give an example of government, Haryana government, because I had worked with the Haryana government, and there I found how the data being used to monitor the implementation. So if you will go through the Haryana government's website, you will find that there are more than 500 schemes which are enlisted there, and schemes and services which are enlisted there. And through this web portal, they are trying to ensure that there is a less human interface, so the service delivery system is fast. Okay. So what they do, so if at every transaction, the system, the MIS, which has been placed by the Haryana government, is able to capture the data, and every district collector has been provided with a dashboard where they can clearly see that how many applicants were under a particular schemes. Okay, how many applicants have got the benefit, and how many applications are still in the process, how many applications have been delayed, so that they can. So what is happening, this data is basically ensuring that the government or the government is able to achieve the objective of the program. So this is the power of the data. Okay. So I just want to highlight one study done by Charles Guandru Kumau and his colleagues, and in this and they have published a paper as well. And in this paper, they have I think they have evaluated more than 200 projects in Kenya, and they have found that they try to figure out which are the projects which are successful, and which are the projects which could not get successful. So they found that the 50% projects were successful, and they also tried to explore the reasons behind it. And they found that those projects which had a very, very strong M&E system, where I am deviating from data to M&E system, where I will be using this interchangeably, data and M&E system. So those programs, government programs, which has a very, very strong M&E system, they performed well, and they were very, very successful in achieving the objectives and achieving the impact. So this is the beauty, and this is the power of the data. So there is a body of research which says that if you really want to ensure that the program or a policy achieves its objective, then there should be embedded M&E system. There should be embedded data management system, which will help the implementing agency or implementing unit to track the progress. And if there is any issue, they can immediately take some mid-course correction. So this is the role of the data in the implementation. And the next question, which is very important, is how to set up a M&E system or a data management system, and how to ensure that we are able to process this data, okay, and we are able to generate report. So first thing, I'm not going through, there are many factors which are involved in this, but that will take time. So I will be discussing only two things, which are basically KPIs, key performance indicators, and the MIS system. Okay. So key performance indicators, basically the indicators by using which you want to track the progress of the program. So you will have to be very, very judicious, very, very smart when it comes to deciding the indicators. We'll have to ensure that we are only taking those indicators which has direct link with the project. Okay, so there should not be too many indicators. We have to ensure for the speedy management or speedy monitoring of the implementation, we'll have to ensure that we have very few indicators. Those are broad indicators, and by using those indicators, we are able to monitor the program more effectively. So that is a very, very important thing. But I just want to highlight it's come to deciding the KPI. So there are many factors. There can be a programmatic theory of change. Then you will have to develop the logical framework. So those are the things which you'll have to do in order to ensure that you have very good program performance indicators. And then nowadays we say that we see that the technology is everywhere. So it is always everywhere. You will find that there is a web-based MIS system. Okay, so that we have a data, we have evidence to take fast decisions. So we'll have to ensure that if the program is a big in scale, then there must be a MIS which is capable to handle the data, which is capable to process the data, and which is capable to generate various dynamic reports. So that is a very important that we need to have a MIS system in place. And but what happens that still when it comes to monitoring the implementation, or when it comes to embedding the M&E system within the program design, then there are many issues. So what happens normally that the implementing team thinks that monitoring and evaluation system or a data management system is basically a system which will monitor their performance. And in that case, what happens that they do not support. Okay, you will have to ensure that if there is a MIS, then it should be feeded in with data on a regular interval. So if the program management unit does not support with the data requirements, then the data M&E system will not work. So we'll have to and these are the pitfalls. These are the shortcomings of M&E system. Also, there is a problem in M&E system or data management unit system, that they do not want to work with the program management system. Okay, they will have to ensure that they are the integral part of the program management unit, and their role is to basically help the program management unit to improve the effectiveness of the program. So that is a most important factor of M&E system, which has to be taken into consideration. So these are the common pitfalls. And I think I have taken already 20 minutes in presenting this slide. So in nutshell, when it comes to policy cycle, we must not ignore the importance of evidence, importance of data. It should be in the center. There might be different factors as well, but it should constitute the center of the policy making process and of the implementation monitoring process. So this is the importance of a data in policy implementation. And if you have any question, please feel free to ask.
Yeah. So guys, I think you should ask questions now if you have any, because we have some time at hand, and Devanand is taking questions now. Now will be your time to ask questions. So, moving forward, I think I have a question of my own, Devanand. I think we can discuss that, and thereafter you can discuss maybe other case studies that you must have experienced while working in the field. So, you're talking about specifically about data, role of data in policy implementation. So, in India, we often come across reports, or generally when we are analyzing a policy, or even the government bodies sometimes claim that there is no sufficient data available, which is why analysis is limited and implementation, how a particular policy has worked, remains effectively unanswered, because a lot is to do with speculation, because we don't have resources that are spent on a lot of authentic data collections, whether it's organizations or government bodies. So, how far has that, in your experience, affected policy implementation? If you can maybe take up an example of a particular scheme or a policy in the education or gender sector that have been your areas of exposure, and maybe try and explain to our audience that how has a limitation of data adversely affected which I'm presuming adversely affecting policy implementation.
So yes, this is the problem when it comes to using the evidence in policy making. So I was going through one report, then I will go to the case study, and it is a report by an ODI itself. So what happens if you really want to generate evidence and want to use the evidence in policy making, then you will have to create a structure within the government system, and that is not happening. So are very good at handling the data or analyzing the data you will find within the government system. There is no setup within the government system. So what happens? The non-government organization or a consultancy firm, they work with the government and within the PMU system and try to fill this gap which is there in the government system. So government will have to recognize this fact that evidence is very important, like I showed in the first slide. So still there is a lot of hesitation. Government go by the political priorities, government go by the opinion. Of course opinion has a very important role, but that should not be a driving force when it comes to policy making. And I can give you one example. If you will read the Karthik Muralidharan's paper, and he works very closely with the government, with India government. He takes classes with bureaucrats as well, and always try to explain what is the importance of evidence in policy making. But still he finds that the policy research or generating evidence takes time. Government has to be patient when they are looking for the evidence, but that much patience is not with the government. That is the problem, because they think that we have to stay here for 5 years. You never know, the next government will be there, and there is a performance anxiety, and in that scenario you ignore the evidence aspect, because generating evidence takes time. 3 years, 4 years, this might be there is a, but so there is a issue. So one of the major reason, and he also pointed out that a day when the policymakers will start to understand this, that it may happen that during their regime the evidence may not be able to contribute to their policy making, but maybe the next government which will be coming, they can use that evidence. So it's basically the government itself will have to change the working culture, okay, the way they operate. So this is the problem at the government level. Now I'm giving you one example. I was doing Odisha Girl Incentive Program with the Odisha government. It was basically a scale up of a project which I did, Odisha Girl Incentive Pilot, and later it was converted into a program. And at every stage, we try to ensure that the data is there. So initially we had this issue with the government. Why government wants everything in quick? That you have to produce everything. Why you are doing the your pilot, which will take a 1 year or 2 year? We should not be doing this. But I think we work very closely with the government, and we try to convince the government. If you want any policy decision, will have a very large impact. Millions of people are going to be impacted. So it may take time, but whatever policy will be in place, it will be backed by the evidence. And if the pilot result is not encouraging, then we should not be spending so much money in designing the policy, because it has a cost implication as well. So the government of Odisha, we have realized there is no culture of evidence in the government. But if there are some dynamic bureaucrats, and if we have a patience to make them understand that this is the role of a data when it comes to policy making, then we will be successful, because it is a process. There is no culture of using the evidence. So we'll have to work closely. All the stakeholders will have to come together to ensure that the government uses as a central factor in policy making and policy implementation. And later, by closely working with the government, we set up MIS system, we set up a M&E system, and through which we generated many evidence. The project, the Odisha Girl Incentive project, was to ensure that there is a no dropout, or there is a reduced dropout at the secondary level. So when we had a data, we also found that the financial constraint is not the reason for the dropping out. There are other factors as well. So uh, maybe not. Data has told us that because of the learning gap, many of the students in remote areas were dropping out. So then we use this data, went to the government. We have education doesn't have one problem. Education have many problems, and we'll have to take a multi-pronged approach. And we may have to design an intervention which will try to solve another problem in the education sector, and with the help of the government, because the government realized the importance of the evidence. I'm not saying it was happening there. We'll have to work closely with the government, make them realize that this is the importance of data. And government allowed us to design another intervention. We again presented the result of the program to the government, and government again scaled up that program. Okay. So it is a very difficult initially to work with the government and to talk about the evidence with the government. As I said, that the government is always scared that the government next time they will not be in the power. So whatever they have to do very fast. So yes, these are the constant, but I think we have to work very hard. We'll have to work closely with the government, and I can see that nowadays that every government has an MIS system. They have a monitoring and evaluation position in place. I come across many advertisements of researchers who will work in the PMU and will help the government to create evidence and or generate data, create evidence, and help in policy making. So the culture is also changing. It is not like that the culture is not changing. Culture is changing.